Hello everyone. Just wanted to pop in here to my test world where I'm experimenting with RedPower frames, and I wanted to do a little update video on the RedPower frame drill that I've been building. A couple things I had to take into consideration when building this, and actually if you look right here, this is one of the things I haven't fixed yet. Right now this battery box has a solar panel above it, but I needed a frame block here to hold this block breaker, and as a result I had to take off the solar panel I had here. So there's an easy solution to this. We can just stick a frame block here, put a solar panel next to it or something, but it's not really a big deal. I don't expect to run out of power anytime really soon. And real quick, set the day back to something reasonable. All right, but this is a completely self-sustaining system. It is attached to the world at one point here, where we have a retarded amount of bluetricity power coming into this system, which we really don't need. So let me give you the rundown here. Basically, what we've got is something that we can move in. I think we can move this drill in two axes of the world. We could expand it to include the third, but I just haven't gotten that far yet. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. I don't know, but we'll see. But right now, it as you can see, the frame stops right here, and so if we were to move this system in this direction, we would eventually we would run out of frame blocks. So we've got this deployer here, and we're sticking a bunch of frames in it. And it's not rigged up completely perfectly right now. I guess in the long run, I would probably use logistics pipes with a supplier pipe or something to do this. But I just have it hooked up to this RedPower pneumatic tube system just for demonstration purposes. But it's connected to this ender chest, which is going to have some support frames in it for storage purposes. So the idea being, when this frame block extends past this block breaker, or when the frame moves past the deployer, the next redstone event that causes the frame to move again first causes the block breaker to place another frame block. So we're constantly expanding the size of this frame block dynamically as we travel in this direction. Now granted, this is only we can only travel in this direction. We can't go back past here. I suppose it could be possible using some counters and such. You would effectively have a maximum travel size doing it that way, versus here we pretty much can go as far as we want to until we stack 1,000 frames or 1,000 blocks total on here by adding one frame at a time. At that point, RedPower tells our frame system to stop functioning. I actually changed it to 5,000, but that's neither here nor there. So we could do it so that it goes either way, but we also have this problem to take into account here, where the drill head actually runs into the thing. And we could move it around. We could make this third axis function where we could shift the drill bit left and right here, but that's outside the scope of this. And also that would require us to put block breaker and deployer over here, and then that's where the counter would come into play, so we can make sure we're on the positive or negative side of this axis. But anyway, so as it is right now, we can extend infinitely in this direction, assuming that RedPower has the configuration set properly, so we don't overextend ourselves in terms of the number of blocks we have, and also assuming that our computer has the processing power to handle that many blocks moving at once. But anyway, moving along here. So the idea being, you have an ender chest hooked up to some type of auto crafting system where you automatically craft frames, and they get dumped into this this system here using a supplier pipe. And then you could do some kind of supply pipe from the ender chest up to the deployer. And also, when you come back this direction, the block breaker will break the frame blocks and inject them back into the same system. So just to give you a quick idea about the redstone signaling involved, I've used Chicken Bones wireless redstone, and here let's have a look at, we've got 5 functions here. So we've got left, and if you saw the frame move there, we've got left on 10, right on 20, up on 40, down on 30, and dig on 50. So let's just stick with left for the time being. So as you can see here, so like I said, that whole frame did move there for a second, and now you can see we're moving off of this. So we'll click it again. All right, so now we're out of frame blocks, and this frame motor here is the one that's moving our frame in this direction. So in 2 clicks, in two pulses, we'll be out of frame blocks and we won't be able to move our frame again. But when we pulse this, whoops. Okay, let me do that again because I failed a little bit there. When we pulse this, the first thing it does is it adds a frame to the stack here. So we're able to extend this basically as far as we want to. The only exception being if you can kind of screw this up, and it could be fixed with pulse formers, I imagine. But if you hold down here, I don't know. I had an issue. I screwed something up where I was gumming up the wireless signal, and this block did not get pulsed properly. Anyway, if we wanted to go backwards, I'll demonstrate how the block breaker takes the blocks out. So now we have our first frame over the top of the block breaker. So the block breaker breaks it and dumps it back into the system. And there are no repeaters here. Also note, there's no need for repeaters because everything happens just as it needs to. And these inventories, it seems, are equidistant from the block breaker here. So that's why they're kind of doing what they're doing. Make it daytime again. Oh, it's just raining. That's okay. Anyway, so that's kind of left. That's left and right. So let's get this thing back over here to a place where we can start mining. And also, what I did is I set up a nice little kind of control area, so we can push these buttons and we can move it, which is kind of fun. But I'm just going to kind of follow it here and move it with the wrist. Oh, see, like here. Yeah, so the combination of that button with me pushing the redstone, wireless redstone receiver, we had a little problem there. But like I said, that can be avoided with some pulse formers and such. I just didn't feel like getting too much into it. So what's happening here is when we pulse left, it's left based on facing this direction. So west, I suppose we should actually call it. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? We're pulsing 20. 20 goes to 2 things. First thing it goes to is this. Actually, that's not what we're pulsing. We're pulsing the other one, aren't we? Yeah, okay. So when we're pulsing, I'm sorry, I've been doing this for too long and my brain's kind of fried. I have a piece of stone here because I had it set up originally for manual testing purposes, pretty much, and I haven't had to move this one. I did have to move that one, so this one's just left over. But this, the wireless redstone receiver, pulses this block, and it travels through this block into the redstone, the jacketed wire, and then that pulses our frame motor, and it also travels over here and pulses our deployer. So we get the frame, and then we move it all in the one go. When we're coming back the other direction, we pulse 20. We get to move the frame motor straight away here, and then we also go on down here through the jacketed wire, through the redstone tube, into the block breaker. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward setup there. All right, and then over here, we'll keep on moving this thing just a little further. I'd like to get over here and kind of start digging some of this stuff out. So I'll probably cut the video here real fast, and I'll be back when we get this thing moved over. It does take a little bit of time, but I think the idea being that this thing is kind of going on its own, which I've actually set up, and I'll demonstrate for you at some point throughout this video. I set up a really messy but functional redstone logic circuit that will drive this machine and it's based on this counter. It'll go 15 blocks side to side, and then it will dig down and it will change direction. So it'll dig, go 15 blocks in one direction, either east or west, then it'll go down, then it'll reset. So it looks like we're over this area where I want to start mining here, start digging. I think that's good enough. Yeah, it's fine. All right, so now let's get to the second axis. So now we've got all this stuff moving nicely. What we've got going on, a couple of things. You know, I wanted to put panels on here so we didn't accidentally drag any of that other stuff off with us. Same thing on this side if we encounter stuff over here, what have you. And same deal over here. Just a little precautionary. I guess it's not supposedly necessary, but that's the idea. Let's start with the drill head. So one important thing, we wanted to put panels over here so that when we get down to the edge of the sand, this frame doesn't try to stick to the edge of the quarry area that we're digging out. That would be really bad, and that would stop our machine. And so also we had to do the same thing on the bottom here. And if you notice the layout, what we've got is block breakers on the two sides there, and then we've got some transposers in the middle. After I set this up, it was probably more efficient, now that I think about it, to put the transposers maybe here, for example, and here. But you know, too late. That's okay. The idea being that we have to consider things like Thaumcraft crystals that maybe don't get picked up by the block breakers. And I'm not sure if it's whether they don't get picked up or whether it's sometimes if you break a block, all the time, if you break a block that a crystal is attached to, you will drop the crystal. So say, for example, this block breaker has a block that it's breaking that's immediately below it, but a crystal is hanging on the bottom, on the block space below that. So when you break that block, the crystal's going to break, and the block breaker has no way to take in those crystals. So I just wanted to put the transposers in the middle here just so we could soak up any extra stuff that may get left behind. And you know, generally speaking, they should get everything except maybe on the edges. But you know, it's kind of a OCD thing, I suppose. So I will fix that later on, just not right this minute. But that's about it for the drill head. You know, obviously you have to use the tubes to get all the goodies back up, and all the tubes connect to this crap. They connect to this chemical chest. I wanted to use an ender chest here, and I think that'd be the most logical thing. The idea being you put your ender chest there, and then back at your home base or wherever we have your sorting system, for example, you have your the other ender chest that matches it, so that way you don't have to, because I really don't like to deal with teleport pipes and all that kind of stuff and chunk loaders. You know, it might not be a bad idea though to put a chunk loader or a world anchor on this thing. That's actually a really good idea. I should keep that in mind, as well as your path all the way back here. It might be something, and this is, I just actually thought of this as I was talking about it. It might be a good idea to put a little timer in here so that every, you know, so many blocks we also, and then we'll put another deployer on top, so that every so many blocks we also dump a world anchor on top of this frame here so we can keep the entire frame loaded in memory. That would actually be a really good thing to do. So I'm glad I thought about that just now. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to use the ender chest, but it crashed my game, and then while it crashed the game, it was halfway through moving this whole thing, so it actually really screwed up my build, and I had to kind of piece it back together. It was kind of a mess. I had to put frame motors just floating in the air to kind of get this thing to put itself back together like a you know, Humpty Dumpty or something. I don't know. It was pretty disastrous, and I was kind of upset, but it's all right. We got it working again. Anyway. So we have a important distinction to make here with the redstone on the drill head, is that the transposers are on a delay, whereas the block breakers are immediate. So if you watch, you see that happening there. That's just so that, you know, we want to soak up the extra stuff after we break the blocks. So let me go ahead and move it down here just to show you. We can move the whole thing down, and we have the same system set up here with the deployer and the block breaker. I had to rig it a little bit differently just for space and efficiency concerns, but you know, once again, we're dynamically extending in this direction, so we don't have to have our frame going way up into the sky in order to reach the bottom of the world here. And also, it works the other way around, so that as we're bringing the drill back up, you know, we don't generate that frame way up into the sky. So just a quick look at the signaling involved with the digging function. You know, this is the wireless receiver for 50, which is the dig function, and then it gets piped two different places. The first thing, it uses this jacketed wire to get to the redstone tubes, and these redstone tubes connect all of the block breakers on this side, and then they jump across, and we use a pneumatic tube here, and we'll get to that in a second, but we use a pneumatic tube here because we don't want to transmit redstone signal onto this line. but we do want to get it to the other side where all of these block breakers are, so we just use some redstone wire to cross that gap there. And it's also important, the way that this is set up, I think the best way to show you is from underneath. If I can find it. Where is it? Oh, yeah, see right here. So the transposers are all linked together on one long tube as well, and this is the point where they all intersect. And so the transposers are using redstone tube to share their signal, and that's why we have this pneumatic tube here. But it's very difficult to see, but that tube, that line, runs right underneath here, and we do not want that line to connect with this redstone signal, otherwise we lose our delay functionality. So I put a stone cover on the important distinction to make there. Another important thing to note is that put stone covers, I mean, it doesn't have to be stone, it could be anything. I think I might actually replace this with wood because it looks a little nicer, but we have covers on the tops of all of these things so that when we pull this system all the way up against the bottom, and actually, it used to be this was the top, but then I had to move the chest and stuff around because of the transposers, and now this is the top. So I guess this block's the only one that actually is ever going to touch it. But important thing to note, we have a stone cover there so that we don't start pulling our frame motor down, which technically can't happen. If this is the down, it won't work. It won't move anywhere. But if this is the up, we could have some serious problems, and I think that has happened in the past. So I want to make sure we don't screw that up. But that's the drill head for you. And then the last thing we got going on here is, like I said, pretty much the same setup. Instead of side-by-side frame motors, we've got on opposite sides of the frame motor setup here. That provided us with the ability to do some signaling that we needed, and also what I wanted to do, like I was talking about this earlier. This battery box really doesn't need, or we really don't need two battery boxes. What I was thinking about was just leaving the solar panel here with this battery box, and then routing a Bluetricity tube over there. But we don't want to go right here because this frame will interfere with that. And if we do that, then we're going to have to put stone covers over here, and we can't generate stone covers like that because we're dynamically generating this frame. And we have no way to add stone covers to them unless we put another block or another deployer here, and that'd just be a really big mess. We don't need to mess with that. It'd be an even bigger mess to clean up that with block breakers. So we're not going to worry about it. And I think we have the space here because really it doesn't matter how big. Whoops. It really doesn't matter how big this footprint gets up here as long as it does not go past here. I guess really it could go past there as long as it doesn't go past there on this. From here down. But if we get to the point where we're moving this drill against all three axes, we don't want to pass this area. We don't want to go to the right of this thing, because if we wanted to make it go back that way, we would have an issue. And I hope this is making sense. I could just be babbling, and you might think I'm crazy, and I've been working on this too long, which I probably have. But it's fun. I really like RedPower frames. We've all been waiting for them for a really long time, and I kind of took. I will say this. I took Elloram's design that she had made that original video to demonstrate the RedPower frames with the Corey, and I like to think I improved upon it a bit and experimented with a lot of different other designs. And this is I really like this one the best. I think she did a good job. She got it right the first time. But I did want to take into consideration, like I said, some of those things that may not get sucked up with the block breaker, and just some other stuff there. That being said, the logic gate has not yet been updated to move, because the most efficient way to do this is to dig the blocks underneath the block breakers, and then move. Well, I guess we'd want to move one space, and yeah, we'd want to move one space over, and then another space, and then another space. Then we'd want to move two or I haven't worked it out. There's a pattern there that I haven't figured out yet. With what I had before, it was just block breaker row here, block breaker row here. So that would mean we would want to move two spaces at a time, and that made sense. But anyway, the point is that eventually we get to the point where these things are overlapping, and so only one row ends up digging, which is a little inefficient, but it doesn't matter. It'll still work, and it'll be all right. And if we leave it alone long enough, it'll be able to dig all the way down to the earth. You can see what I started to do here Not that, obviously, that's a ravine, but right here, this was all dug out, and I had to kind of manually mess with some stuff. I was in the middle of tweaking it, so we had some alignment issues, but this is what we got. So I'm really excited. I really cannot wait to implement this in my Let's Play. I really am not a big fan of the quarry block from Buildcraft. You know, and I understand, like, you know, it's got a good purpose. Or what am I saying? It's a nice idea, but I really don't like the idea of like Elloram said, a magic block that can just do everything. I really like the idea of constructing your own stuff, and I by employment am a web designer. It's a little more complicated than that. I do web application stuff. I suck at graphic art, which I think is a very important distinction. If you ever hire anybody to do a website, make sure you know what you actually need from them. Because if you're trying to get a website done with it needs a lot of graphic art type stuff, and you hire somebody who's a coder, you're not going to have a good time, as they would say in South Park. And I think something might have just gone wrong here because it seems like we got stuck. Okay, I'm actually starting to think that the issue might be over here. And yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what that's all about yet. And I hope to figure it out. Like I said, I thought that it was an issue with the timing and the pulsing and this kind of thing, but I'm thinking maybe that's actually not the case anymore. But we'll figure it out, and once we do, this thing should work without assistance. But you know, like I said, this is more or less just a prototype. But what I do want to do for you real quick is I'm going to bring this thing down as low as I can. Actually, I'm going to help it out a little bit. I'm going to clean out some space so that this is all level ground so you can see this thing in action. And I always get really nervous when I'm working around this device with the destruction catalyst, because I've destroyed this machine many a times accidentally by not paying attention to where I was clicking. So I'm trying to be really careful here and not make that mistake again. But it looks like we managed to take care of it, and let's get this thing out of here so we don't have any problems. All right, so I'm going to bring the drill down, and then I'm going to go activate the logic circuit there, make sure it's heading in the right direction, and then we should be rocking. So I'll be right back. Oh wow. So I actually came over here real fast to count how many block breakers I had, and I came to realize that these things on the end here, these are not block breakers. That could be an issue. So let me replace those with block breakers real quick, and yeah. Okay, so I've determined that the drill head is 21 blocks long. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to 21, and we're also, I have to look at my thing here, down is 30. Yeah, I'm gonna reset this, not that direction. Let me reset the timer real fast. Okay, and it looks like we're ready to go. So let me make sure none of these manual override switches are on real fast. Looks like we're good on that. I thought there were 4 of them. Looks like there are only 3. But here we go. Let's observe and enjoy. So this thing should dig a perfect square, assuming that it moves properly. Okay, so yeah, it's headed in the wrong direction right this minute, but it will turn around here in a second as soon as it gets done. So while it's going in the wrong direction, let's have a look at this circuit just so you can see how this was done. And like I said, I am a programmer. I program in Ruby, so I'm used to object-oriented programming. I have never done anything like this before. I thought, hey, this will be easy. Very different than what I was used to. And I'm just going to let this thing tick all the way to the other. There we go. All right, so we're going to stop it for now because the plus is lit right now, so that means as soon as we start this thing up, it's going to start coming back towards us. So what we have here, and this is, I'll kind of walk you through it the way that I came up with it. Yeah, and this could probably be refactored and made a lot more compact and more elegant, but this is, like I said, I laid it out as I thought it, and this is what happened. So the idea is that every pulse, we're going to do this on a pulse basis, obviously, and everything in the world operates on that function, so we're going to take advantage of that. And every pulse we definitely want to dig, and that's probably the first thing we want to do. So using this timer here, which is set on an interval of 2 seconds, which seems to be about as long as it takes for these frames to finish moving, which is nice. We pulse 50, which is the dig function. So the very first thing that happens, we always pulse 50 first. Then our signal, I guess technically at the same time, our signal goes to these two AND gates. And I guess the easiest way to explain this is, yeah, so the AND gates receive only 2 signals. So for this AND gate, for example, the left and the right are the ones that are receiving a signal. This middle one is disabled. So we don't care about this one. All we care about is that this one and this one are on, and then we get output on the output. And then for this AND gate, all we care about is this input and this input. Okay, sorry about that. I had a phone call. All right, so with this AND gate, well, all we care about is this input and this input, and then when those two are on, we get our output here. And the way that we need to think about this, or the way that I thought about it, I mean, maybe I'm sure somebody can come up with something way better than what I've got. But the way that I was thinking about this is we have to go in alternating directions. We have to move left, then we have to move right. I guess in this case it's west, east, and west. And then also we have to know when to move up and down. And I think the best way to keep track of up and down is every time we change directions, we need to go down. I guess technically we don't ever have to go up, unless we want to make this thing automated to the point where not only does it dig endlessly into the earth, but as soon as it goes, say, 70 blocks deep, it comes all the way back up and then moves to a new area or something like that. That might be functionality we want to add later on. And I definitely plan on building this in my Let's Play. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And then also improving on this crazy happening. So the way that we want to keep track of whether we're traveling left or right, we need something that stores states. And that's going to be this toggle latch here. So the toggle latch will always output on one or the other, and we're going to be able to change its output, toggle its output, by giving it input, and the input's going to come from this counter. So the counter keeps track of how many times we've traveled in one direction, and then as soon as we hit the max count in that direction, we're going to get output here, and this output, first thing it does is it pulses this 30, which is down, and then the second thing it does is it comes around here, goes through this null cell. I had to use null cells because I'm messy, and then it pulses the input of the toggle latch, which swaps the output. So right now the toggle latch is on this, the left side here, which is activating this input of our AND gate. So this AND gate and this AND gate are pretty much mutually exclusive. All of these inputs can never be on all at the same time. One of them has to always be off because we're receiving input on the AND gates from this toggle latch, and this toggle latch cannot have both outputs on at the same time. So every time this timer pulses, both of our AND gates get one of their 2 inputs turned on, but the other input is provided by the toggle latch. So this is how we can swap states from left and right. So we'll just follow the path here. We were here. This signal is on. So when the timer's on, this will pulse, turning this output on, and then the output is sent through the 1 delay, and then goes to our left or right. I don't know which direction it is. That's 20. We can look it up, but I don't want to move the machine at the moment by opening the wireless remote menu. And then also, we cross this null cell, and then we pulse the timer in that negative direction. And as soon as the timer, so we repeat that as long as the timer we pulse the counter in the negative direction. Then we repeat that as long as the timer's going. And then as soon as we hit the max negative, which in this case is 21, we're going to pulse down, which is 30. And then we're also going to pulse the toggle latch, which swaps our input on this AND gate. So now this AND gate is on here on the right side, And this AND gate, where we had it on, where we have it on right now, and where we had it on before in our scenario, this turns off now. So now, whenever we pulse the timer, or the timer pulses the system, I suppose you should say, I guess, this AND gate no longer passes, and this AND gate start passing. So the output from this AND gate goes across here, pulses our left or right, whichever one that one's not, and then it also pulses our plus. And then, like before, this continues as long as the timer is going. And then when we hit our maximum plus, we put a signal on to down. And I would like to replace this with I forget exactly what the tile's called, but so that we don't clog this signal the whole time that we're on either all plus or all minus. I think that would be nice, so that we can still have manual control without having to come back here and fix this. And that's why I have these manual switches. Like I said, this is all just prototype anyway. But we pulse down, and then we come on around and we pulse the toggle latch to switch it back, and the cycle repeats. So really long explanation. Let's watch it. And I'm going to make it day as well before I get shot at and such. So digging right along. And unless I'm mistaken, that the image refresh there is due to chunk boundaries. See, right now we're in this chunk, and that is just outside the chunk. Like I said, it's 21 long, so we've got 5 blocks that are outside of our chunk boundary here. But if we go back over here, it's no longer this side that's flashing; it's that side. It can't really be helped. See, the whole thing, but that's okay. So now it just turned around. And it looks like it didn't go. Down exactly like it was supposed to. Like I said, it's definitely not perfect. It needs some work. And it looks like we left a frame behind. What was that, I wonder? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So this frame actually was placed by the deployer, and it had nothing to hold it there. How interesting. Oh wow, we actually have a problem. Crap. All right, I gotta go fix this before we do some serious damage to our machine. Okay, so we hit a little snag, as you can see here. And if you don't know what you're looking at, what you're seeing is the center of this, because the drill head and then this frame rail is supposed to be going up right here in between these two frame motors, but that's not what's happening. Also, this frame motor got pushed up like I was talking about earlier, so apparently there's an issue here that I still haven't resolved. Like I said, this is actually the first test I've run of it. I realized that there is the potential to make a fool of myself, and apparently that's what's going on here. But I did want to get this video out and show you guys the coolness that I think that we can have with this kind of a contraption. But so definitely a couple more bugs I got to work out, and like I said, I do want to improve on some stuff on the bottom. But as you can see, it works. It definitely does its job, and I'm gonna get back to work on that whenever I have some more time, and hopefully I can update you guys again and show you the fun progress. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, I definitely am excited and cannot wait to implement this in my Let's Play. If you haven't checked that out, please do. I was inspired by Direwolf20 to start a Let's Play of my own, and I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, this is a problem, but we're gonna fix it, and we'll get it right in the Let's Play. So maybe that should be a motivation to check it out. At least I'll get it right there. So anyway, like I said, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.